I was testing out a new feature before the show, and you can tell it was a loop. That wasn't supposed to happen, but at least now I know it worked. Speaking of working, it's finally here, guys. We're finally ready to go to work. It, it's not quite DFS week one, but to me it is. Like this whole like the next couple of days are like the build up. It's like Christmas Eve, and then so like Sunday is already here. That kind of fun for me. But Sunday is like the payoff day, I guess. So. But now is like one of my favorite times. We get to build on this. We get to talk about why we like things. I really get into that. So without further ado, I just want to welcome in Gov, Donnie. We'll kind of walk through what we're going to do here. But we always usually start these shows with a spread, some games we like, reasons we like them, totals that we think you should target. I like this segment, especially this late in the week, because it's so challenging. We're looking at lines that are pretty well established. If you actually want to get edge, it's better to do it earlier in the week, so it actually adds more of a challenge for us to do it this late. And then, as always, the spread pick winner of the season will pick the captain for our showdown DFS lineup. So we always kind of correlate what we are doing so it all makes sense. But how we doing, Gov? How we doing, Donnie?
Pretty good. Feeling a lot better today. I don't think I'll lose my voice.
Yeah, you were sounding a lot better a couple days ago, and you sound even better today. So I think you were ready to go.
Oh, yeah. We should be all good. Feeling good. It's week one of football.
Yep.
And we had a couple of really good games so far. Like, I was cautious about last night's game with everyone slipping around in, like, the first quarter in that. But it really ended up being just like once everyone realized that, it just was a track fest.
Yeah. The bad thing about last game is I told Logan, I think it was even when we were live going over the game. I had wanted no part of this game. There was two offenses. There was so much new additions or so much parts that are just question marks still that I just didn't trust anything. And these teams are exactly what they basically have showed us they want to be. Saquon is going to be their dominant guy, and we're going to have to deal with that. And, Jordan Love still has some things to work on. But overall, he gets the job done. Eagles defense, I'm a little worried about. Good pass rush. Outside of that, that's it. I mean, Friday's game shocked me.
Well, it can be overreaction theater a bit too because we're so excited for these games. So I'm not going to lie and say it can't. But what was exciting was we did see some stuff that we don't normally see. We already got 2 overs already. And I think last year, Ridge Rebar was talking about it this week. Last year, through the whole entire week, from Thursday to Sunday, we saw 1 last year, I believe he was saying. So we already saw 2. And so maybe that speaks to the offense. I know the NFL was worried about that. That's part of the reason the kickoff's happening. They hate all these shell defenses and kind of that creativity. I don't actually mind it. I think it's a lot like DFS. Just give me the rules, give me the salary, and I will tell you what I think about it by how much I'm willing to bet, how much I like a play. I like the theory of games in different ways to play that game. So I want to see defensive games sometimes. I want to see offensive explosion games sometimes. I want the mix. Yeah. So personally, I enjoyed it, but like if I saw every game this week that way, I would be disappointed.
There is one player I just want to bring up beforehand because we won't talk about him at all probably the rest of this podcast. The corner that the Eagles drafted, Mitchell, he looked amazing out there. I don't trust the Eagles secondary still, but I trust Slay, and Mitchell looked very good for a rookie in week 1. Well, they definitely showed promise.
And that's all you can really ask for.
Worthy looked good. Jordan Love run up and down the field on them and get field goals.
Yeah.
If you judge a drive as a success, if you get points, even if it's a field goal, Green Bay was more successful than Philly. They just kicked field goals.
Yeah, no.
Philly was able to get those explosive touchdowns from A.J. Brown and Saquon.
Well, the Eagles can live off being a bend but don't break defense. The offense just has to show up. And I don't think that's a tough ask when you have Saquon, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts.
That's the thing. Like, there's a lot. I think Devonta Smith playing out of the slot was playing really well. Like, I think all the weapons around him are set. But I think this might be the year because Jalen Hurts looked a little slow in this game. This is game 1. The tush push wasn't working as well without Jason Kelce.
I don't blame Jason Kelce as much as, like, obviously the snaps will get better. They're not going to have those snapping issues. I just think the Packers really defended it well. I mean, anytime they were there,
everyone's had all offseason. And if we were playing Philly week 1, it's like, okay, we know we're playing this bullshit.
It's, last year we saw it stop twice. This year we've already seen it stop once or twice.
Well,
it might have been twice.
Well, it depends. Like, I think it was stopped once on a fourth down goal line.
It was stopped once on a fourth down goal line. It was stopped once on a 3rd and 1, I think, and then the 4th down and 1 they got the hard count.
Yes,
but that's the evolution of the game. You give these smart coaches enough time, and players as well. Give them enough time in these kind of awareness rooms and kind of labs, and they can work out different plots and schemes. You're going to see a different brand of football every year. Like everyone's talking about how the kickoff is different. Well, it's different for many different reasons too. The punters have to learn how to kick. There's strategic elements to almost every play. And so when the offense gets a favor, the defense is going to come back and answer that. I expected that. Now, I do think Kelce being gone does take a bulldozing element out of that play.
Well, I will say, for the Packers, they do have Kenny Clark, who is one of the best nose tackles in the league. Like, no matter how you look at it, if Kenny Clark's not there, it gets a lot harder to stop that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like building a DFS lineup. You could make an argument almost for anyone, I think, that you could say this guy could be a good play, right? If you believe something good, strong enough, you can find stats to back it up. You can find proof somewhere. It doesn't mean it's the best case, but you can find evidence to prove your point. And so I do think we have to wait and see because, like, we are talking about a small sample size, and I also think Kellen Moore will open up the offense a bit more, too, than we saw last night. But Barkley was just running so well. He was really efficient.
The offense looked really good to me. I mean, they didn't open it up a bunch, but there was more motion.
It was slow in the beginning. Like, it eventually, like I feel like Barkley plotted his way through a whole game to get that. Like,
it was slow in the
beginning.
It was
136 yards and 3 touchdowns. But it was just sort of like a grinding affair the whole game. And then, there's something from A.J. Brown. And like you saw it coming, too. It's like the corner messed with him and was like almost in a little fight. And then the next what happens? You get like 3 straight balls to A.J. Brown and he scores a touchdown. Like, you pissed off an angry tiger and you said, ah! I feel like Philly just sort of I don't think they did anything spectacular with their offense. They just have great, great weapons.
Well, you got to remember will
them all the way this year? Because even last year, the end of last year, they were starting to be very predictable.
Last year it was screen, run it, tush push. It was we knew what the Eagles were going to do. Kellen Moore's not going to run into that. We know Kellen Moore's going to be hyper aggressive, possibly to the point of where it causes you to lose. But when you can't trust your defense, I argue you should be hyper aggressive.
And he's trying
He's also going to run a guy out of the slot. And Devonte Smith ran 26 slot snaps last night.
And that was beautiful. I mean, Devonte Smith, that's where he really should progress as a receiver and being a true guy there.
Oh yeah, he's ready for a breakout season. A.J. Brown is a grown ass man, and now you have the bet. How do you upgrade from DeAndre Swift? Better Saquon. Yeah, now you have the best running back you can behind that line because he's great with the cut and he's fast and he's willing to take the hit. Unfortunately, it has hurt him in this time because he had to take a lot of hits in New York because of how crappy New York is. But now he actually has an offensive line, albeit not the great. This is also the point in time. I remember when Dallas had an amazing offensive line, but 4 or 5 years, and then everyone kept saying it was good for another 4 or 5 years, and it wasn't as good. And I think this is the start of that 4 or 5 year decline of the Philadelphia offensive line.
Well, I do just want to point out too, I don't think I've ever seen Saquon so happy playing football.
Oh yeah, no, like he's
like
so
he
much
looked,
better.
It's not even just he played well. He had 3 touchdowns. That comes with just someone's going to score, and it happened to be Saquon.
Yeah,
he just looked, even before he got the hat trick, he looked so just ecstatic to be there, and that's a big deal.
Well, that was one of my biggest components to do this show. Is I really wanted a podcast where once we start building lineups and we're enjoying football, like that passion and love just comes through. Like, sure, we're not the most professional show. Sure, we might not have the best advice, or we're not experts, but we love the game, and that comes through. So I love to see that on my television screen when I'm watching actual football too. I think we get lost in this minutia that, like, oh, they're professionals. They have to act a certain way. They have to be like these Iron Man, like superheroes. It is cool to, see that human emotion and be like, he is happier because guess what? He's on a better team. Derrick Henry doesn't have the best game, in the world, but he's still a producer on a Super Bowl contending team, in my opinion. Like, you could see it almost felt like he was relieved because he didn't have to do everything, right away. So even when the results aren't there, you can just tell that some of these players just felt better.
Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Ravens for a minute, because I got a couple of small things to talk about. First of all, Kansas City, we knew they looked better on paper. They don't have Hollywood Brown, and I mean they just look like a freight train. I don't know what you do with that.
Hollywood Brown is old and busted anyway. Rice is the new Rice is the better version of Hollywood Brown, and Worthy is like the new Tyreek Hill. So they now have an amazing offense. Yeah, the problem is you will never be able to replace Travis Kelce. I don't think it's possible.
I mean, Kelce had a bad game.
I haven't seen that masterful tight end come out yet. I mean, Laporta's good, McBride is good. They are right up there and in contention, but they're not coming to.
But Laporta reminds me more of a Gronk-like style compared to Kelce is a very special style of tight end.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
all that's true.
There's something different about this Kansas City team, and I've never seen a team win this much and continue to get better. Last year was the rebuild year, and we said that from the start. I had them going not great and still making a playoff push, not as good as they had in the regular season last year.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. They were the consensus. This is the rebuild year. What do you do in the rebuild year?
And they rebuilt perfectly.
Win Super Bowl number 2.
Yeah, number 3 technically, right?
Yeah, number 3, the 2-peat. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
God, Mahomes gets a 3-peat and has 4 rings. Oh.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how you stop.
I don't see any reason.
Andy Reid's too smart. If he has those weapons, all those weapons healthy with Patrick Mahomes, even if Pacheco's out or an offensive lineman's out, they're going. Andy Reid's going to make it work. There's too much there.
I've always been the sports fan too that can enjoy greatness. Like, I just like their parallels. So you give me the Lion story, give me the comeback story, give me like the Cinderella story, like the March Madness kind of vibes. That's fine. But I also want to see greatness. Even as much as I did not like Tom Brady or Bill Belichick, at some point I had to admire their greatness. At some point you have to admire how long LeBron James plays, basketball. Like, that feat is just a remarkable thing. So I don't mind watching the parallel between the Cinderella story to the greatness just extending itself and being great far past what it should be. So I've never thought that was bad for NFL ratings. I know some people say, like, oh, the Chiefs winning is bad. I don't think so, because it almost creates an anti-hero kind of effect where it's like, at some point maybe you do cheer for them to lose, but you still got to watch for them to lose if that's what you want to do. So it's still good.
The thing is, ratings are only high when there's dynasties in every sport. That's what we want. We want dynasties. That's what we watch. So we can complain about it. I love them personally. I mean, I grew up a fan of one, so now it's just like I'm in the same boat as you. I just kind of admire it. Like
We do have somewhat of a short out or a hard out, so we should get moving here.
Yes.
Do we want to talk about our spread pick?
All right, let's
Well,
go.
yeah, let's go over the slate. Like, let's look at. I got the numbers up here.
Mhm.
All right.
Like, how do we want to decide how we do this? Or like who had the best lineup on Thursday? Because mine sucked.
It was between me and Logan on Friday, and on Thursday, mine also sucked.
I can pull it up if we need
I'd
to.
assume it was between me and Logan on Friday anyway.
Yeah,
I know I'm completely out. So like,
we
it's
both had
between you
Worthy, so I know it was that. Speaking of which, while I pull this up, of course, I'm not on screen, so that's good because it asked me for a login. Would you guys hold Worthy if you were in a season long? This is a shout out to Evan, who always loved talking about season long. But would you hold Worthy, or would you try to trade him right now?
I mean,
Like,
I'd hold him, but I do think he had a ceiling game.
Because some people say, well, when Hollywood comes back, even if Worthy's still good,
No,
Hollywood.
from what I saw, no. They're just going to keep getting him more involved with more of those like swing touches and everything that you could have given Tyreek. And as he gets to be a better receiver, just like Rice last year, it'll like click. Like I do think he'll have more than like one or two big games like that again this year. Now, will he have that? Like, could he go like 5 straight games right now without doing that? And then have another big game like week 9 or 10? Yeah. And then like have another 1 or even 2 the last couple weeks of the season? Like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can't see my Thursday lineup, honestly. It's not showing me it in the recent stuff.
I think I'd beat you because I had 105. I'm showing mine on the screen now. And I cashed. I don't think you cashed, right?
I did not. No.
Yeah, so I had to beat you because I just min cashed, though, to be fair.
On Thursday, I definitely was last. On Thursday, I sucked.
Okay.
It was bad.
Yeah, I'm not bragging, but I had 105, so I just barely min cashed.
Okay.
I think min cash was like
let's
104.
let's do Logan, Gov, me for the spread pick.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Let me go back to the screen here.
Yep. All right, Logan. What's your favorite game of the day?
There's a lot I could choose from.
Yep.
One of the I just like it. Maybe you guys know I've kind of been biased against the 49ers. I think they get a lot of credit. I'm buying the Jets being a contender in the AFC, and you're going to give me 4.5 points. That's more than a field goal. And Christian McCaffrey could be limited. You got the IU thing. I don't like the vibes coming out of the 49ers locker room. Now, I've always been the emotional guy on the show. I've always bought into more emotional narratives. I don't like it when there's this much turnover, but there's also this crazy high expectation. And the Jets, I think if everyone just sees Aaron Rodgers play, they're going to be happy. Like, Jets fans just want to see him do well. So I feel like there's still pressure on the Jets, but the expectations are way lower, where I feel like giving them 4.5 points is too much.
That wouldn't have been our lock, but I just remember we didn't pick a lock of the week as well.
We didn't. We can circle back.
Yeah. But so Jets plus 4.5 would be Logan's first pick, and we still haven't done our lock.
What do you want to figure out the lock of the week now? Like I've got a couple of games I've been looking at.
Yeah, I do. It's supposed to be consent. I kind of don't mind most of these. Most of these are pretty solid spreads.
There's a few that I kind of want to attack.
I like Gov's Panthers at 4.
I also like my Panthers at +4.
I think that's going to be low scoring. I can definitely see +4.
All right, so that's probably our lock. Yeah. That's our consensus pick of the week is Carolina +4 at New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to start 0-1, everyone. Let's do it, baby.
Taking the team that won one game to start the week 1. That's our style, baby.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So that means it's me now for mine?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Right.
And just to remind everyone, we do snake.
Okay, I think I will. Let's see. Let's see.
Just to give people a comparison to Draftkings, they're very similar to what Gov's showing on the screen, though. It's not the same thing. But you should line shop, by the way, if you're actually going to bet. Like, there's nothing wrong with line shopping. Because I actually prefer,
Do not be a slave to a brand.
for sure. And I like DFS and DraftKings better than FanDuel, but I actually think FanDuel actually has a better sportsbook. I'll say that.
Unless that brand pays you, and then you're not a slave.
True. I mean, you got a sponsorship deal. You got to own up to it, but there's no shame.
All right, I don't think this is going to be a blowout, and I want to see a fun game, and I'll take the fucking late game hammer. Give me the Rams plus 4.5.
Really like that one.
Yeah.
Well, talking about late night hammer, I took the Monday night game. You take the Sunday night game, so I got the hammer beat. Go. I got the latest hammer you can have.
Hey, boom, boom, bitch, boom, boom.
Unless COVID's going to happen and they're going to play a game on Tuesday or Thursday or something this week.
Rodgers tears his other Achilles, and they blame it on the stable offensive lineman, and now it's like aggravated assault, and they have to arrest him on the field and stop the game for the felony.
See, it's week one. We're having fun. Go ahead.
I got my 2. First off,
yeah, you're snaking. Oh God, shit! Don't take my.
It's a homer pick, but damn it, I'm going Patriots. I do not see them losing by over a touchdown.
I do actually like
that. The dysfunctional Bengals that may have no wide receivers and definitely have no running backs.
Yeah. I mean, I am playing this as one of, if not both, Higgins or Chase is out.
I'm playing it as Higgins is guaranteed out.
Right, that's what I'm kind of doing. And Chase is still a question mark. Yeah, I'm not.
Chase is at best like a 50-50, even at like snaps played, and then Higgins is out. That's what I'm assuming. So like you're playing Yoshi and like Burton and Gesicki. It's
and
like
the Bengals always start slow.
Yeah, the Bengals Burrow could easily lose this game to New England,
Mm-hmm.
or it could definitely be close. So like, okay, take the points.
Another one. I think they're going to look a lot better this year. One's going to look a lot worse.
Don't do it.
Broncos plus 6.
Don't do you son.
That was mine. I thought about taking it first.
You.
Dude, it's such a solid.
Of course
spread.
you took that one.
Yeah.
Why would you take that one?
It's so pretty.
Now, my friend who's not a huge NFL guy, but he's a huge college guy, his favorite quarterback has been Bo Nix for like the last 3 years. He loves him. He wants to make him like the president of college football fan clubs, like because he's played in college for so long. He thinks he's just going to come in and dominate. Like it's actually regenerated his passion for the NFL again. He's excited to watch the Denver Broncos tomorrow. So like he would ride with you, Donnie.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, we know Bo Nix is smart. Like he's known for not making mistakes and high completion percentage, which is what which is what Sean Payton likes. That's not a recipe to be a blowout, and also Seattle is not that good this year, in my opinion.
We'll see. I kind of disagree with that second statement, but like I still wanted to take the Broncos. I thought that was too many points.
That's too many points.
For what should be like the first true year of a Sean Payton team, he's got rid of everyone else. He's got rid of the other coaches. He's had a couple of drafts to bring in his guys. Like they brought him in to make it his team. This is the first true year of his team under his belt with his guys.
And I've always been higher on Sean Payton than most. And I will say, like, these are small moves, but these are identity moves for Sean Payton. You know, people said he overdrafted Bo Nix because he reached for him, because he was praising him and saying how reminded him of Drew Brees and how accurate he was. He said he was like the slept-on prospect, kind of like Patrick Mahomes was. He was slinging around names on purpose, I felt like. So he believes in Bo Nix. But then he goes and gets another slept-on guy with Parham, who reminded him a lot of Jimmy Graham, he said. So these are small moves that may not like be DFS plays in week one, but they are identity. They are Sean Payton guys. Well, so that's one thing you can say about this team is they are built in his image now. Whether it works or not, this is his make or break year.
Well, at the time when he got drafted, you could definitely say Josh Allen was overdrafted. But when you looked at it, even at the time, I didn't like Josh Allen as a prospect, but Buffalo made so much sense for him. Sometimes a place just makes sense for you.
Yeah.
And that's what matters more than anything.
To go to the point, we can move on after this, but it's just too many points. I almost took it first.
Yeah, I would have taken that too, but okay, I'll have to go with my backup. I'm going to take, since I now live near the area, the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.5 against the Atlanta Falcons.
You said 3.5?
3.5. Plus 3.5.
Like it.
I gotta see if Kirk Cousins actually makes this Falcons offense better, or if it's just the Falcons GM is a dumbass. Like there's a small chance the Falcons GM is just complete dumbass, and Arthur Smith is about to have the best quarterback he's ever had playing for him in his entire career. That includes him going back to Tennessee, where he had Tannehill and A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry.
You do know it's Justin Fields this week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't hate Justin Fields. He might not be great, but there's a lot of not great quarterbacks that if they can get their fucking shit together can actually be good enough to do shit in the league. And Fields has the talent to do that if he gets his shit together. Getting cut from the team that drafted you number one, like in the first round, can do that. Humble a man.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's getting shot because Russ is cooked. I don't know.
Logan, last pick.
Okay, so talk about too many points. I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals over the Bills at 6.5. I don't think the Cardinals are that bad. Gannon had that team playing. He had that team buying into an identity. It was kind of like Sean Payton's, or Donnie's point with Sean Payton. Another year with Gannon, his system. Murray's healthy now. They add one of the best wide receiver prospects probably of this generation. Harrison is like probably the best route runner we have seen come into the league in the last 10 years. Now, there might be a learning curve there, but we already saw it with Worthy, that these young guys are just coming in ready to go. They know their role. They might not be good at everything. They might not know the playbook completely, but they have a role. And I do think Harrison with McBride is going to have a role. And there's a lot of question marks. That's kind of my pick. I'm picking against perceived good teams with a lot of question marks. We can say Josh Allen's good. Problem is, he also lost Stephon Diggs. They haven't replaced it yet. People are saying that the best receiver is Dalton Kincaid, who didn't really overly impress me as a number one option. He was a cool option. He was fun. He was exciting. He did some cool things with the football in his hands, but he didn't really scream number one tight end. Travis Kelce kind of like dominated to me. So I don't like this Bills offense to be as efficient as everyone seems to think they are.
I mean,
like I could.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the Bills side, but Arizona could also just be awful.
I do like Arizona.
I'm not opposed to that idea happening.
Yeah.
Like this is also like a high shootout game. Like I like the over in this game. So like if you get the over, you could have a close and a shootout. It's probably close.
Mm-hmm.
I could see taking the points for Arizona in the shootout.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't love Arizona. I need the points, but I think 6.5 is too many.
To me, this is basically like the game is going to tell me, is Arizona awful still, or can they compete for at least a playoff spot?
Mm-hmm.
If they can show up against Buffalo, they could at least be a playoff team.
It's true.
It's true. It is.
And I'm on the side where I think Arizona could. If everything goes right, they could.
That's correct.
But let's move on.
Let's go to fantasy.
The main course.
The piece de resistance.
I have not set my lineup yet, by the way. Like I have my couple plays, but I don't know. There's stuff I'm still waiting on.
I have a placeholder cash lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a couple of tinkers that I've done.
Speaking of a placeholder, what I really wanted to do this year was give us a place that we could use or not use and just put our thoughts, our early thoughts, any thoughts we have, just random thoughts, universal thoughts, where it was unfiltered. You know, I wasn't going to interrupt Gov. Donnie wasn't going to interrupt me. If I saw some news that I thought was interesting, I'd put it there as like a as like a placeholder you would for a lineup, just to be like a callback for this show. So I started doing that each week. So each of us have our own personal tabs. It's funny because Donnie said he would never use it, and then he actually did a couple of days later. So that's what I want it to be. Some weeks we're going to use it a lot. Some weeks we don't use it at all. But it's just a place for us to put our random thoughts. Because so much of my thoughts I'll get a thought like watching the game, like maybe I see a good run. And I'm like, I should remember that. And then, 3 days later, after I watch some of the review shows or I'm excited about my lineups, I kind of forget about it. So this is a good way for us to do that. So I've had fun with that. How do you guys want to go about these builds, though? Because I have the most lineups probably available this week. We have a bunch of free contests. Is there anything you want to attack for sure? Is there like a certain contest that you want to go after? Do you want to look at a single entry? Do you want to talk more about GPPs? Like anything in particular there? Or do you want to just jump into how to build a lineup?
Like I think like let's start with our normal lineup one. Like we're gonna use this same order or reverse order.
We can reverse it.
All right, reverse order. Donnie, let's go to the first line now. It's week 1, so I'm thinking. Let me make sure I got my stuff up. I don't want to be caught off guard here. So, I'm thinking.
You're thinking.
Mm-hmm. You can see
I'm thinking like, what are you going to do? Because I'm going second no matter what. It's like,
I mean,
who's your favorite play? I'm thinking, who the hell is your favorite?
My favorite play hasn't changed in the last 3 weeks. Throw Tyreek Hill in there.
And by the way, people may not have seen last year.
Get out of the way. Ha ha ha.
We don't take quarterback, right? That's how we're going to do this.
No quarterback.
Yes, if you want to know the rules, we are going to snake draft this using our collective brains, building the lineup together. But we have the rule of we will go through the lineup one time through our system, and before anyone can select the quarterback for the lineup.
Yep. With the power of friendship, we will build this lineup.
Evil, hatred, friendship. Goddamn, brother, I hate you, brother. Oh, fuck you, brother.
What you gonna do, Gil?
What you gonna do? Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Well, I think since we're just let's just start with that. What's everyone's favorite play? You can now plug James Conner into this lineup.
Is that chalky this week?
No, he is not coming in very chalky.
That's good because this is a lineup with chalk, apparently.
Rashad White.
Tyreek Hill is an absolute lock chalk, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves some Tyreek Hill.
And it's going to get worse before it gets better.
It's only going up. His stock is only going up. Tyreek.
The reason
I'd
why
like to lock in a good, solid, like mid-price 6K running back that I think has great volume, great floor, and if this Buffalo-Arizona game goes off, he's going to get a boatload of work and some touchdowns probably.
Gov, one of our last drafts we had like these themes and these ideas, and I remember your idea in that draft being that you wanted a volume running back. That was like the thing you kept, preaching through that whole draft. And I think we ended up getting Kenneth Walker in that draft, a very similar kind of idea. James Conner should get 90% of the workload here. The rookie that's going to give him some work later on the season.
He'll spell him a little bit, but like it's a carry here or there. It's not a series or something.
And if that happens, it's like maybe that's the unlucky part. But the idea is he is supposed to get 90% of the work.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of people are probably going to be playing the Josh Allen side, maybe some Kyler. They're definitely going to play
get the cheap receiver.
Yeah, they're going to play some Shakir. They're going to play Coleman. They're going to play stuff like that. McBride is always in play. Connor is coming in with low ownership. I love the leverage it has on what should be a game that has ownership.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a game we don't think can't score points, but it's entirely possible Arizona's points come on the ground with Connor in the form of him getting the touchdowns. Kyler and Marvin Harrison might be able to chunk them down the field, but Connor might be the one punching it in the end zone. Like McBride and Harrison will probably be able to like march him down the field, and then Connor will punch him in. Like that could lead to a big day from Connor if this is a big shootout game. So like, I love the leverage I get with James Conner. I just hope it stays leverage before the start of flipping over Sunday.
And quickly to Donnie's point, he was asking if he's going to be chalk. The chalk guy is actually Rashad White, who's very, very closely priced with him, just $100 more. So I think that's.
I believe Ken Walker is pulling some ownership too.
Mm-hmm.
See, White has a chance to, lose some of the workload he had last year. I think he was second in carries, 13th in yards last year. He was not efficient.
No,
they're gonna want to replace that.
He was just under 100 attempts, or 300 attempts. I thought so, but I wanted to look it up to verify.
Yeah,
it's my pick though, right?
Yep. Your next two.
All right.
Okay.
So I would say first, just do like we did. Who's your favorite play? Let's just jam him in.
My favorite play this week, price considered, is.
Don't care. No. We jammed in. No price considered. Who is your favorite play?
Terry McLaurin.
Then let's play Terry McLaurin. Don't need to be cheap. Don't need to be expensive. Don't need to be whatever. It just needs to be a guy.
He's the number one guy.
I'm not against this. He's the number one guy. He's going to get great volume.
And his number two is in question. Like there was already a question mark going into the season, and they had injury concerns. The coaches didn't seem impressed with any wide receiver. No one stepped up. I think Terry McLaurin, he's got his best quarterback he's ever had before in his career. I'm comfortable saying that. It just reminds me a lot of Hopkins, like when Hopkins was with the Texans and he just had David Carr and all these.
He never played with David Carr, did he? He's not that old.
Yeah, I think he did.
No, David Carr was on the Giants.
No, I was about to say I think you're thinking of Andre Johnson, who like.
Yeah,
I might have confused it. It's been a long week.
Well, they overlap. Like Andre Johnson had his career, and then like the last 3 years of Andre Johnson, they had DeAndre Hopkins on the other side, and then Hopkins had like 10 years there too.
Yeah,
but my point
Hopkins had T.J. Yates.
There's
that's the point, though. He did have some T.J. Yates.
True. But that's also my point. Is I think he has.
Now he gets Ryan Tannehill, Will Levis.
Terry McLaurin has game-winning upside. Like he has number one, like could break the Slate upside, and he's never had a quarterback that actually could produce an offense. I think he has that now with Daniels. Okay, so it's my second pick, right?
I'm not. Again, that's one of those games I'm not really looking at, but I still see it pulling it's not really pulling ownership either, that Tampa Bay and Washington game. Although it could be sneaky to play Baker or play Dan. We know Daniels is probably a good value if you want to trust the rookie.
Mm-hmm.
If you think he's this year's CJ Stroud, okay, Daniels, McLaurin, that's a great way to go.
Okay, now it's time for me to get my best value on the board.
Oh, that's what he wants to do.
It's time to go Dolphins.
JK. Oh my God.
Oh my goddess.
Okay. I don't even know I don't know how to counter that. I have to think how do I you just zapped you just gave me a shit ton of money. But thank you for the value. I guess. First things first. Thank you for the value.
Well, I think he will start, but he's priced at a point that he doesn't even need to start. He just needs some work. He's priced at where I feel comfortable whether he gets a full workload or not, he's still going to be productive. I just think he's also the pass catcher too. So he's, no matter what the game script is, he's going to play.
If you believe he's the pass catcher, then I want him to get the most work possible. And I think he's pass catcher over Gus too. So how do I save this lineup?
Save it.
He's a value play. He's going to pull some ownership, probably 10 to 15%, but
I like to go off the wall. That's what I bring almost every lineup.
All right, you're getting my low owned play. You went value. I'm like I said, I'm sticking leverage in here. I'm going with low-owned Connor. And now that I've got all this on the board, come on down, Devonte Adams.
Devonte Adams? I think Devonte Adams is a great player.
Yeah, I'll give me another stud wide receiver with Tyreek. Let's go our little stars and scrubsy. Oh well, boo-hoo. We can figure it out. And I'll get my mini stack with Dobbins. I'll get my correlation. I'll get my low ownership. Snap. Snap, girl. There you go.
Is Adams just in a range where people are forgetting about? I haven't heard much talk about him, but then if he is brought up on a show, because he has been brought up on a couple of them, when he is brought up, no one has a bad thing to say about him, but he's just never the first guy people think about. Do you know why this week? Because I like him.
It's just because no one likes the Vegas offense. Like
no
one trusts Amir White, Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Like we've seen this, and no one trusts that it actually does anything. But Devonte Adams is also an absolute beast of a wide receiver, and don't forget that.
But that's the thing is people have been talking about Brock Bowers, but maybe that's just the rookie shine, and everyone wants like.
Everyone's been talking up all the rookies all year. Like, if I didn't know better, I'd say everyone thinks this is the greatest draft class of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard so many rookie quarterbacks. I've heard every rookie wide receiver. You've got Bowers, a rookie tight end. The only thing there hasn't been is like a big rookie running back.
It's true.
That's going to start. Like, if there were like a Saquon Barkley supposed to start first-round rookie running back to go here,
maybe that would be Brooks.
People would say it was the greatest draft.
I do like Brooks.
He's a second-rounder. You need like a first-rounder. Like you need a star running back.
No. Speaking of what we need is I bring back so we have a game to focus on in this lineup.
Okay, do it, Donnie. Go ahead.
But I don't love our price range.
Well, you could always grab value somewhere and hope one of us makes the right decision. Power of friendship in that.
Yeah, the power of my brain. We're going to target monster last year. We're going to go Christian Kirk.
Kirk in the flex. Heard.
Yeah, I would have went Evan Ingram, but where we need tight end value, probably now that we throw Kirk in here.
I mean, there is value at wide receiver that we could throw at flex if you wanted to make Ingram. It's 5,500. So it just means yes, we could go another $500 down at tight end if necessary because 2,500 to 3K. But min salary guys at that, I think I might rather have the wide receiver. And I don't think there's much of a difference between Kirk and Ingram. Again, I think this draft class has been kind of overhyped. I don't know if Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be as effective early for Jacksonville, which means it's just going to be Kirk one side and Gabe Davis other side and Ingram playing his slot stuff he did last year and playing off while they mix in the.
I agree. I still think Kirk and Ingram are the two guys who are just going to hog the ball.
So which one do you want? It doesn't matter to me.
I'm going Kirk for now.
Okay.
Unless we decide we need to change. But
Okay. We won't need to change. We can always get more value at tight end. I just think the ceiling of someone like Yoshi versus the Patriots. Now that's a nickname. Pop, fuck you. Dude's name is Yoshi.
Yoshi is a play at 3K. There's also Mitchell.
I forgot Yoshi. I did not realize Yoshi's only 3K.
He's only 3K.
Exactly. Like if you did Yoshi at 3K, then you wouldn't need someone like. Let's see. You get another pick. Like who you want to pick the value tight end?
Do I get 2 picks in a row?
Isn't it Snake? Or
I do. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you convinced me. Let's take Kirk out, go Yoshi, and put Ingram in.
Yeah, you get your 2 picks. Do you want that 2v2 of Ingram and Yoshi?
Yeah.
Or Kirk and a 2,500 value tight end?
I will say
Kyle Granson or cheaper, basically.
Mitchell is also available because Downs is out, and Mitchell is only 600 more than Yoshi. So there are some options at wide receiver this week.
Gesicki, 3K tight end. Like there's a couple of 3K or less tight ends you could have gotten there.
We know Higgins should be out. So even if Chase plays, Yoshi would be the type of guy to play alongside Chase pretty well because Yoshi is the field stretcher, and then Chase could do everything over the middle.
Yep.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. But then we can put Ingram in at tight end.
Then we want
we get our bring back. We get our Miami game. We've got a little mini stack of that Vegas game.
Okay. So let's
some good leverage one on. Now Yoshi's going to be chalky as hell, and Ingram's probably going to be a little chalky.
Do we have a defense?
It's a good thing I have a very low-owned Devonte Adams.
The cheapest defense I like is New England.
I agree with that.
The chalk is Houston right now at 27. So yeah, I can go New England.
Like even if Yoshi has a good game, he doesn't need the touchdowns.
Yeah, Yoshi's cheap enough. If he just gets 6 for 70, we're good. If he somehow falls in the end zone with another 8 or 9 points, we're golden.
At quarterback, it looks like Justin Herbert would be an option with our stack, or Daniels is what I'm seeing.
Daniels is chalk.
I don't know if Daniels is chalky. Like people are talking about him, but he's not showing he's still only showing a 10% owned quarterback. He's not one of those 15 to 18%.
I love him this week for the same reason that Anthony Richardson is chalk. I think he has just the same upside as Anthony Richardson, and his ownership is going to be a lot lower.
Yeah. Okay. I actually was playing Daniels in a personal.
But Herbert's okay with me as well in this lineup. I think either one makes sense.
We don't
really have one of his pass catchers.
Yeah,
we have Dobbins, but then we have Adams as the bring back.
Yeah, Dobbins I don't see as a guy who's going to catch 5 passes though. He's not
right. Maybe
if we did Herbert, I would want to get off of McLaurin and go to either Palmer.
I'd rather Daniels.
So Daniel, yeah, I like it because we do have McLaurin.
Daniels, I'm fine with the Daniels McLaurin mini. I don't need to bring back from that game. And then I get these pieces from the other game. I know Miami, Jacksonville's chalky, but there's no reason Tyreek and Ingram can't just they're chalky. They're going to have a good game.
Now you had a hard out. Do you have enough time to build another lineup?
Well, of course, yeah. My hard out's not for another hour. I figured we were starting a little later. We did good. We're cruising. Get an hour show in, no problem. Hopefully everyone watching, feel free to chat us up. We'll be checking this out. What do we want to do for lineup 2? Anyone? Did you have an idea, Logan?
I had an idea last night that I thought would be interesting, at least from a talking perspective, is we can name our favorite players or a play that would make sense for a lineup, and then see if we can match the production that we assume from that player with $1,000 or less. So if Justin Herbert or if Justin Jefferson is 8,400, can you do it at a Devonte Adams level and get the same production? So that way we look at the highest upside but the cheapest price and see if we can build more of a balanced lineup with that idea.
Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't want to do that for every position, obviously, but.
Right, at some point we're going to have to say, okay, we got this money left. What do we do with this money? But at least then it kind of gets us thinking about cheaper.
Well, I mean, there is the theory of building that cheap, let's just put in all the value, like he said, and let's make the goal. We only have 45K.
Okay,
that makes sense.
So,
all right, instead of the 50K salary cap, we only have 45K. So let's build out a lineup like that, and then upgrade with that 5K.
One name immediately came to mind.
Who's that?
Okay.
We'll never have him at this price again. We might have other players at this price because of injury. But to start off week 1, you don't see this very often, Theo Johnson. Starting tight end. I know it's an ugly offense.
See, and at the same price, I would have just taken my guy from Carolina. Sanders is the only
one of the two
remaining tight end.
It's the same play.
They're both 2,500. But
I agree.
One of those two guys should be first in, and I think Yoshi is the next guy. You just need to put those values in.
Because Sanders is the only tight end.
with
You
good
could
volume.
definitely, yeah. You don't have to convince me to do Sanders instead of Theo Johnson. You're not convincing me to stay on a Giants offense.
Both
Don't
of
worry.
those guys are just great values with roles on their team that you cannot deny. They're going to be on the field doing something. Now, is it going to be like Tucker Kraft last night where he's basically just blocking and gets like 1 or 2 targets and they don't use the tight end? Maybe. But, like, it's still the guy who's going to be out there and has that chance for that.
Well, look at this. So they got Tremble out, which we thought was likely. But then they were like, oh, Thomas might be out. They just put him on the IR today. So, like, he's not just out. They're like, we're gonna have to remove him. So that leaves only
We need
Sanders.
a tight end. Where is Greg Olsen when we need it?
I mean, Josh or Matthews might get some run and really screw up this pick. But if that happens, so be it.
Right, that's fine.
So next, we want to get Yoshi in there.
Because Bellinger is actually a legit tight end who might actually steal from Theo
Yeah. Bellinger, we played a lot his rookie season, actually, for those who were around for that.
Now, do we really need to get value? Because I could say Mitchell is a good value.
No, like I said, like
it's gonna keep.
We don't need
value.
we don't need just like extreme value. Like you really want a realistic ceiling. Like this player could actually get me 15, 20 points.
Well, Downs is out.
So Downs is out.
Yeah. Mitchell's this is Mitchell's job, right?
True. Mitchell should be the number 2 in this Indy game. The Indy Houston game is a high-paced game, so like I'm not opposed to that either.
And
I
they
would
did
also
say
throw Mitchell in.
That Mitchell is ahead of Pierce. Like they're both going to play, but Mitchell did enough to be ahead of Pierce, is what I've been hearing. Okay, now what do we do?
Well, I don't want to go value quarterback right now. I don't see at all how you fade Tyreek Hill. Even if we're going for value, Tyreek Hill is still value at that price. You're never.
Well, we don't need value now though. Like we got these value guys.
My thing is like Tyreek Hill is value at 8,700 week 1, even if it's chalky.
Yeah, I like Stevenson. I just want to say that like there's a chance Antonio Gibson is out.
Patriots just running backs in general.
Yeah, I can look at them. Hold on a second. I gotta find it though.
You're right.
There it is. See, most teams are 3 letters, and the New England always messes me up, only being the N and the E.
So let's see what the injury news is on Gibson.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. You as a fan, like, if he's hurt, even if he plays, do you think he'll be limited? Like, what do you think? You follow the beat reporters, you follow the team most. Like, is this?
We don't know with Mayo really. We don't know what his procedure is on these guys.
But
this is their pass catcher. Their other running backs have no ability to catch.
None, right? So Stevenson
has the only ability out of the backfield unless you throw a receiver back there. Or Hasty, I think.
He's a good value too, and he's a bring back. What do you think, Gov?
But then I don't trust the offensive line.
Like I don't hate it. I'm not sure. Like I think there's better values at running back.
Right. I don't think 59.
Like I said,
that's the idea, though. Just throwing out players that we like and then seeing what we can do to leverage off of it. If you don't think there's enough leverage there, we can move on to another player.
Well, I don't even care about leverage or ownership at this point. Like
right.
If you're at least $5,000 on the table, I at that point you do not need to care about ownership. No one's building that lineup.
No one's building.
So like I don't care about ownership. I don't care if it's the most owned cheap running back.
Right.
At that point, you know what? Just plug in Jerome Ford.
Ford?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to be highly owned, but he's like the cheap running back to play.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the 5.
Other than like maybe Javonte. No, Javonte's not really pulling much ownership. But like, yeah, just plug in Ford. There is running back value.
Yeah.
Zamir White could be running back value at 57 too.
Do we just try to jam in CeeDee Lamb?
No, like I said, we're trying to we might not have the money.
Oh, that's right. We're trying to say okay. I forgot the salary.
Stay under 45. Under 45. I'm keeping it off to the right, off to my left. So trying to keep track too.
Well, what if do we have enough to go Diggs?
It's not that expensive right now, actually.
Yeah. Diggs is kind of cheap. I mean,
Dell
again,
is
we don't
cheap
think we'll
too.
get Diggs this cheap ever again.
Dell is cheaper. He's the cheapest.
But Diggs is also the much more proven one.
But Diggs is the guy that, like, Diggs is either going to be the number one or going to be a problem.
I agree.
Right.
And if that's the case, he'll be more expensive than Nico
Right.
next week.
And to that point,
you kind of got to take him week one on the discount, or you're going to just be playing 7 to 8K Diggs like he was all last year.
And to that point, he's sandwiched too, right? You got Dell, who's cheaper, Collins, who's more expensive. So people are probably going to choose between those ranges. Diggs might go underappreciated because he's, that's how
yeah, we can plug in Diggs there. All right. So Diggs.
So in this lineup, we have what, 14?
So we have 14K left for a quarterback, a running back, and a defense. So we know we can put in a cheap defense and basically say we have 12K left for a quarterback and running back.
So let's go the other defense here. Let's go, instead of going Patriots, let's say this time the Patriots fail.
I say again, I don't mind just plugging in
I can imagine the Titans. Caleb Williams, he had a lot of highlight plays, but he was very low completion percentage. He could easily fail.
Like, the Steelers' defense isn't bad. They could just be good against Atlanta.
I would.
I took that. Tennessee. Like I said, I took that bet.
I would lean more Tennessee and just say Caleb Williams has a bad first game.
I don't know. Tennessee doesn't really have a really good defense.
Do you forget they added one of the better corners in the league in Snead? They've had a couple signings throughout the preseason, offseason time.
So I can't interest you in the Cardinals?
No.
Nope. I think at that point we are just gonna go with the Titans.
Okay, fair enough.
Again, we just need a value, so we know.
You're forgetting how much Tennessee's added, and Chicago easily could just have a bad game one.
They've added a lot on offense. I think that
on defense they've added a bunch.
All right, so we have exactly 12,000 to work with under our parameters for a quarterback and a running back.
So let's go to our favorite quarterback. I think.
Well, the best value quarterback is Justin Fields starting.
Yeah,
that's true. But I don't.
Unless you want to say Sam Darnold starting, but I think Justin Fields has a
I want to match
because he could have rushing upside.
I want to match it with the weapon of growing Fields, and I don't think we're doing that. So
let's see. No.
Well, again, we can always adjust it from here. But like there's the top value quarterback.
Yeah. So then
that leaves us exactly $7,000 to play a running back. And then we're still under with our 5K left. So who's your 7,000 or less running back?
I just would want to go.
So you can't play Taylor, you can't play Bijan, you can't play ETN.
Yeah, that's the thing is I want to play Bijan in this lineup.
It's basically you can't pick one of the top three, Taylor, Bijan, ETN.
I know, but at this point, I'd rather just go ETN, honestly. Like, that's what we're going to end up doing. But if that's the case, I'd have to just say Aaron Jones. He's my favorite.
I don't know if we just go ETN, to be honest.
Aaron Jones is my favorite running back this week.
I also really like Aaron Jones.
I like Aaron Jones.
For me behind Connor.
Can we just plug in?
I don't mind just plugging Aaron. Yeah, just plug him in. Okay.
So
I think this lineup has a high upside. I think this lineup has some chalk, but it has plays that are high upside everywhere. And we have all this money to upgrade. So where do you think is the glaring spot to upgrade this line?
Bijan?
No. Not who to. Who from?
Justin Fields. There's no weapons with him.
And I think it's Mitchell. Just because I don't trust the passing game on Indy.
So we could go from Mitchell to George Pickens, right?
Yeah, we could always get that up to the stack if we wanted to leave that.
That's fine.
We have enough money. We can completely change Fields and Mitchell to probably almost like that could become Darnold and Justin Jefferson.
But this is exactly what I want to do. Now we can use all the money. We can build the best lineup.
Well, it wouldn't quite be able to come Darnold and Justin. Well, no, actually, it might quite be able to become Darnold and Justin Jefferson.
It can.
Yeah, like right now, what we have, like with Fields and Mitchell,
Let's
We
see
can
what it
turn
looks
that
like.
into almost any other skinny stack on the
Well-
site. We could turn
well,
that into Josh Allen and
that's-
Khalil Shakir.
We could also go and take out Diggs, then go to Neighbors, and then go Justin Jefferson, Sam Neighbors.
Well, hear me out. I don't know if we want to play Giants or that much Giants. And
I'm not sure. I was
Minnesota.
about to say, I know it's getting me sick too. I don't want to stack the Giants and the Vikings.
No. It's not even. I like that game for skinny stacks, but I do not like it for a full game stack.
Okay, so I do think playing Sam, Justin, and Aaron Jones might be different enough.
I don't know if I want to go to that, but like I was
Yeah,
just
that's
thinking,
extreme.
I don't mind.
maybe like do we just embrace it? Because like I don't think enough people are fully embracing. Like not only are they not fully embracing like the Josh Allen doubles, but like I can see the hesitancy. But like maybe we just go up to Tua
I
and then
have
turn
2-1
into like Kirk as the bring back, or we might even have enough money to turn Mitchell into Waddle.
I would like to do.
I don't think we can quite get the Waddle, but like it'd be close.
I would like to switch to Tua personally.
Another guy I'm starting to like this week is actually Olave. So maybe we make it a single Tua stack and turn Mitchell into Olave. Like I'd have to see the price. Let me check. Like I've got it over here. Let me see the price range.
Yeah, what's Olave's price?
We've got Olave sitting at.
I'd rather just play Kamara than Olave at the same price, basically. It's 66.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's why, like, I think Kamara. When I saw Kamara becoming chalk, it's like, well, what is like my thought process this year is what is the leverage? So Kamara's becoming chalk. The leverage is Carolina defense or Chris Olave. And I think I trust Chris as much as I'm a Panthers fan. I think our defense will be solid, but I don't know if it's much improved from last year. Maybe a status quo.
I like Olave too because I think Olave is more talented than Kamara at this point. But for some reason, like you said, Kamara is chalk.
Because Kamara gets the targets and the rushing.
But I think we all agree we're going to put this money into Mitchell and the quarterback. The rest of the lineup actually looks really good. No one has a problem with Hill, Yoshi, Jones, Ford, the defense, Diggs. We're basically putting our money into the quarterback and our cheap receiver. So if we put in Olave, we can still, like I said, we can still do Tua and still have money to play.
Yeah, and 700 to play with.
Yeah, then you could turn Ford into a chalky. Like Ford's already kind of
Ford
chalky.
Could go up
just
to
play
James
Ken
Conner.
Walker, Rashad White.
Yeah.
Like there's still stuff you can do. You could turn.
I like getting off of Ford.
You can turn. You might be able to turn Diggs into Waddle.
I cannot play
make the double.
I cannot play Fields. It just makes no sense to play Fields by himself in an offense that's not shown they have the ability to be good.
See, I would switch it out.
How much is Pickens?
Pickens is cheap. He's $1,000 cheaper than Diggs, almost exactly.
So they can throw to 6 times.
Wait. So we don't even have to play Yoshi. You could leave this lineup as is with Olave and turn Yoshi into Pickens.
I kind of like Yoshi, though.
I do, too. He's going to be the super chalky cheap guy. So, that's immediately gets you different. You're not going to be one of every lineup playing Tyreek and Yoshi.
So, Johnny, if I got you off of, like, you want to get off field real bad, right?
I want to get off fields for literally, he has no weapon with him, and even if we brought up Pickens, I do not know who's going to get the ball in that terrible offense.
See, I want to play Fields, but I'd be willing to listen to what you want to do with him.
I love Fields. Fields is a great quarterback to have, except I don't know who to bring with him.
I believe you. We have him in best ball, so I believe you.
So I say, like I said, we use that 2,700, we put it in quarterback, and we go up to Tua, and just stack Tua with Tyreek.
That's how you get different with Tyreek this week.
No one's stacking Tua or double stacking Tua. Even if we Waddle, the 700 isn't quite enough to get to Jonnu Smith.
I talked about it. I think I want to say almost 2 months ago that I really like Tua, especially this year because he's coming off. He stayed healthy last year. Everyone was worried about the health concerns, with the concussions. He stayed relatively healthy, but this offseason he lost a ton of weight. It reminded me of Joker from Denver when he just transformed his body. And no one talked about the transformation, and I was all over it. And I just feel like Tua really did transform his body. And he literally said it's because him and Daniels wanted to run the ball more, like wanted him to run the ball more and be more of a weapon and really add an element to that offense. So if I believe that's the case, and I do, why not play it week 1 when no one's seen it yet?
I would just get up to Ken Walker, like Gov said.
So Ken Walker over
Now I think we take that 700 and put it on Ford. Yeah, I think we all are agreement that's the third guy I would want to upgrade.
Yep.
So now you have up to 6,200. You can go to Ken Walker. You can go to James Conner.
Now I should say Zach Charbonnet is playing.
He is?
Yeah, he is off the injury report.
Like you could do Ramondre here too. I like
Stevenson for the bring back. So I like Stevenson here, but I don't think you guys do.
I'm not against Stevenson as long as you're fine with saying there's a solid chance that he just has no blocking in front of him.
You know me, Connor's my favorite play here, but you've already got in Olave, you've already got in my boy Sanders,
and we already did play a Connor's lineup, so we already won basically.
I have a list of 4 guys, and I want at least one in a lineup, and right now we've got 2 of them, so we don't need to throw Connor number 3 in there.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anything else you guys want to do? Any other talking points? We can build another lineup if you want to, but I thought this was a good discussion. But we can continue.
I think our lineups were looking good right there. Don't dupe us, please. Anyone watching?
Or if you're gonna just dupe us in the millie, if you're gonna do it, win $1 million because we won't enter that.
Honestly,
I enter the millie week 1. I don't need to dupe that where we all only win $9,000 on it. I won the millie, walks away with $9,000.
Well, we did not enter these into the millie. So the point is, somebody else can enter it into the millie.
Actually, can I talk about that?
Enter it into one of the free contests that they have. The draft, the Miller Lite free contest or the DoorDash free contest.
I can play those now.
Those are basically like playing the millie, by the way. Donnie is 21. If no one got that reference, he's making an age reference. So yeah.
I just realized I can play those now.
You have to be 21 to play those contests.
You always could play them. It was some self-restricting rule on you. Just because it's sponsored by a beer company doesn't mean you can't play.
No, it does say technically they can refuse to pay you out if you're not 21.
Yeah, Donnie listens to the rules. He's a rule follower.
I could enter it, but I actually don't think they would let me enter it.
This is why I love you, truly. But I actually have okay, so it really does bother me. This is like the DFS take that still bothers me. I heard this take 5 years ago, and it still bothers me to this day. I hate it when you win a contest, right? Let's say we won the single entry contest we just entered. And someone's, we win a decent amount of money. We don't get first place, but we win a decent amount of money that we're proud of. We're happy. Let's just say we took $1 and we made like $50. We're all happy. And then the person in the chat or who you're speaking with, you're telling them about this big win. And they're like, well, just imagine if you would have entered that in the millie. Or just imagine if you would have entered it in this bigger contest. And I hate that. It drives me nuts.
Because I don't know if you want to put up on screen. There is a big thing in red that says participants must be 21 plus to enter for all the alcoholic beverages.
God damn it.
I know. See, we know you're a rule follower. That's the same reason you don't want to play a naked Justin Fields. I get it. But no, Gov, it really does drive me nuts when people, when you have a big win and people are like, well, if you would have played it in this contest, I do not play the millie. If I play the millie, it's a special event. It is because I want a ticket. I want a best ball millie ticket, so I played that. It's because it's the Thanksgiving slate and there was a good promotion. If I don't normally play something, I'm not going to then compare myself to that contest because I was never going to play that. So no matter what you do, no matter your bankroll, be proud of what you're doing. Be proud of the process, but don't act like, oh, well, it could always be better, because that's just not a good mindset, I feel like. That's my one good process kind of build, give you guys advice, give you guys some encouragement as you build your lineups. Don't get talked down a play just because you feel like it's chalky or you have to do it. You play with what you want. Have fun with it. Because the problem with this game is when it becomes not fun, then you ruin the whole purpose. Then that's when the gambling and the addiction becomes a problem.
Gotta control yourself with it. But otherwise, it's football Sunday, and I wish everyone luck, except in the contest that I am playing. Go away.
Well, here's the thing I always tell Donnie, because we've been sweating in all the single entries and stuff, and it's been fun. That's what I tell him. I'll see you at the top. I want to be ahead of Donnie, but I don't mind seeing him at the top. He can be like, 3, 4, 5, 10. As long as I'm first, we're good.
Bingo.
If we ain't rubbing, we ain't racing, Donnie. I'm not afraid of competition. I just want to be first.
That's why we have the spread picks. We'll remember, our spread picks will determine who picks the captain in our Super Bowl lineup.
Yes.
So we'll see who's picked it the last 2 seasons. I believe it was
It was you last year.
You last year.
And by the way,
it was Gov the last 2 years actually, because me and him lost on a tiebreaker.
Yeah. I was just going to mention that. I don't mind losing because
watch push come into effect week 1. Dun dun dun.
Well, first of all, we picked so late in the week, it really is the hardest time to pick the spreads. Like you should, if you want to get a good edge on a sports bet, we don't talk a lot about sports betting, but if you want to actually grind it,
you want to hit them on Monday. You want to hit them on early Monday, like the second the lines come out for the week, Monday night, Tuesday morning, you need to hit them. Yeah.
The earliest you can hit them, the better. If you actually, but we're doing it for fun. I actually don't mind losing because when we have these competitions, they've been really close. So hopefully you guys get as much enjoyment out of it as we do. But I believe you took a fullback Kyle Juszczyk in the Super Bowl lineup. It actually won. I remember playing like the 200.
We did.
Yep. So, Donnie, any last minute thoughts? Anything you want to leave the people?
Nothing from me.
Be
Good
smart
luck out there, everyone.
Have fun. But this is only week 1. Don't go crazy. You got like 17 more weeks. We got showdowns. You don't got to win week 1. Just have some fun. Enjoy some football. It's back.
Peace out, everyone.
Good night.
Have a good night, everyone.